So I believe one of the most important skills that you can develop as a business owner is the ability to call a bank, understand their products and how they make a lending decision that could possibly lead to an approval, right? And the reason why is because you can get the money that you need for any of your projects and also save yourself thousands of dollars on broker fees, right? Because this is the exact process that I've done multiple times to build a list. I did it with my friend, right? He yeah, we partnered up in that sense where I would call the banks and he would create a lot of the stacks, you know. So I did learn under him. It is something that I'm grateful for, but this skill is very important, I believe. So I have a script for many of the different products, right? But this is for business cards. And the reason why I'm showing you guys the business cards is because it's the most commonly requested product. Everyone asks about it. Everyone's doing it right now as well. I'm still happy to do it for people, but the thing is that I think this is like the best way I can help someone is showing them how to do the business cards, right? So I use usbanklocations.com to do this. And it doesn't matter what state someone's in, this is the exact process that I would take. So, for example, let's just say I've never done Ohio. So I'll go to Ohio, I'll look at what city they're in. Say they're in Cleveland, I go to Cleveland. And then from here, I typically avoid the major banks, right? And I stick to the local regional banks. Typically, you can tell if it's a local regional bank because you're not going to really know who they are, right? It's something that I noticed. Or you're just going to notice that they're not in like other states. But at the end of the day, you don't have to like really overthink it. Just start adding them, right? So KeyBank, Wood Forest, I would just add all these. Of course, because I know who US Bank is, PNC, I wouldn't add them, but I would just start adding everything. Maybe Citizens. Citizens more like East Coast. I've noticed they're more on the East Coast. But anyways, point is just start adding them, right? And really the call script's very simple. From a client perspective, it's easy because this is how I started. I started off as a client, and then eventually now I'm doing it for people. So the broker script is different, right? But that doesn't matter. This is strictly for someone that owns a business. So it's as simple as saying, "Hey, my name is David. I was just on your website. I noticed that you have business cards, and I was actually looking at your cards, and I was just interested in how I can go ahead and get the process started for applying and really the requirement as well. Would I have to speak to you or do I need to talk to a business banker?" And from there, they may get you to the business banker. Sometimes they automatically get you there. And you don't have to say exactly what I say, but you just have to let them know that you want to get to the business banker, basically. Let them know that you're interested in insert product you're looking at, in this case, business cards. So I'm looking at the business cards. Do I need to talk to a business banker or can you help me? Or a commercial banker, right? That you can literally just say that, and then that's fine. From there, you're gonna get transferred, right? You do your quick intro, who you are. You don't have to get into the specifics, right? Just let them know you have questions, and then you just start asking your questions. Now, this talk off is optional. I've noticed some bankers aren't pushy on applications. However, there are cases where they can be a little adamant about you applying or they will not give you the information, right? Sometimes they just don't want to give it to you, right? Because they want to prejudge you. And really, the way to overcome that, you just let them know, like, hey, I have a team, and this team specifically told me to understand the lender's guidelines before I apply. So I just want to make sure it's a good fit for everyone. And they're going to respect that, right? And if they don't, then that kind of just shows you maybe that this isn't the best bank. Because someone that is requesting financing and say it's for these large amounts like 50 to 100,000, they typically do have like a CPA that manages all that, right? And they typically do build them out plans on requesting financing. They just don't go in there blind. And so if you say those things, it just kind of shows you, right? Like if they dealt with it before or if they're just pushing for the app. But that's besides the point. That should be enough for them to get you the information. And really, you just ask them, what's the minimum credit score? What's the time in business required? And you're going to realize that this is what startup funding is. It's just business cards. That's all it is. There's cases where there are private lenders that do business loans. I'm still looking for them. I sometimes have run into like very specialized lending, so like equipment finance, but like something like this, like cash. Typically, it's business cards, right? So, anyways, that's what business startup funding is really. And then you ask them what personal bureau they pull from, right? And then you notate this, and then you ask them who issues the card. This is how you figure out like who underwrites it, right? And if it's a third party, make sure you notate who it is. It's probably going to be Elon. What is it? Mastercard. You'll know. You'll start to also see some of the major underwriters. I can't. I don't remember them off the top of my head. I have them here, which we'll go into. But point is, notate it. Maximum credit limit you typically approve based on stated income alone. That's another thing. Not all places do stated. Some places, regardless of the amount, they always want it. Typically, those are very like conservative like private banks. Regardless, though, say you get to a regional bank and it's not one of those that's super private, then usually the cutoff's anywhere from like 20 to 50. Usually, once you start requesting more than 50, that's when they ask for the financials, right? And of course, you can ask them if you provide financials, can you increase the limit? A lot of times they can, and you just ask them what you need. Now, for someone that's building out a stack, really, these are the four main questions you need to ask. As long as you have that answered, you put it in a spreadsheet and things like that, you can start to see how you can position your applications when you apply for the business cards. And this is like what I do for people and what I've been doing and what I've been taught, right? And again, this is like it looks difficult, right? But it's not. You have the AI that'll help you. And really, like the first time, yeah, you might not like do very well, and that's okay. But as you get better, again, you're gonna be able to start positioning yourself to be able to acquire mass sums. And again, you're gonna be able to save yourself a lot of money when it comes to this knowledge. People charge thousands of dollars for this. I'm just doing it for free, right? Because I just know there's people out there that will appreciate it. And eventually you can get a list like this, right? Again, I've been in this industry for a while. I have friends, connections, right? And even a bank caller. And this is what it looks like. And this actually comes from my friend, right? And you can see this is what state is Arizona, but we can just look at like Nevada, for example. If I want to do Nevada, it tells me the business card, what bureau, who underwrites. This one's within the bank, right? And I can start building out my stacks doing that. And typically, again, the cutoff is a 700 plus, but this call script here is basically how you can build something very similar. And just understand, you don't have to make it as detailed as mine or as specific as mine. The reason mine's like this is just how this person built it, right? At the end of the day, the most important thing, get the data that you need so that you can make a decision and start building these things out, right? And again, this structure here, this very basic structure of business credit card stacking, you master this, you can literally do it for the bigger products because it's very similar, right? Like if we look at the line of credit call script, very similar where you have to ask time in business, the bureau. There's a couple different what's it called vocabulary words, right? So like the UCC lien, right, for example, secured to unsecured, and it's a little bit more involved. This typically can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to complete, depends, right? This usually takes about 30 minutes, right? So my point is you figure this out, you can figure out all the other products, and you know this is just for people that just want to do it. They may not want to hire me, and that's okay. And I don't mind sharing this, but I guess the most important thing, the one thing I realize just in general when it comes to this industry, there's a lot of things that people don't share. And so it's very difficult for people to get traction, where it seems like they kind of want the self reliance on them. And I just never really liked that. So, yeah, I guess let me know what everyone thinks about this.